Terence Bud Crawford, penny wise and pound foolish, finds himself in a situation where he is going to have to strip his belts and rely upon the kindness of the Saudis in order to get the type of money that he would have gotten if he would have done better business with Errol Spence Jr. and the PBC and would take the fight with Jaron Ennis. Let's talk about the unfortunate turn of events, but yet at the same time, letting people know exactly what it is that happened. Let's talk about that, or at least my impressions of what happened in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon. And in this video, we're going to talk about the fact that, man, you know, you can win and lose at the same time. You can win in a boxing ring, but lose outside of it at the same time. And that is apparently what is going on with Terence Crawford as rumors continue to grow that his next fight is going to be against Chris Eubank, instead of one of three big money fights that he would be in the position to get if things had not gone the way that they went. And Canelo Alvarez, David Benavidez, Canelo Alvarez, Jaime Munguia, and all of those, the fact that Jaron Ennis is going to be fighting on the undercard of Canelo Alvarez, I think that this shows you exactly what went wrong. And I certainly hope that it can be fixed and some of this stuff can be, problem can be solved so that we can get the best fighter in the world in the best fights, because Terence Crawford is a fighter, deserves it. Fight fans deserve it. But, you know, it is what it is, man. And I was talking to people about this the entire time. I had actually spoken with some people that are very high up in the PBC at a fight that I went to and confirmed that this was that at least to a certain point, this is how they viewed it. Now, before I get into it, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you're new to the channel, please accept my invitation to hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon so you can be notified of when we release more videos. And if you're a longtime subscriber and supporter of the channel, thank you very much. This is going to be this is going to be a business talk. And there are people that use the phrase, the business of boxing. I personally have never really liked the phrase, the business of boxing, because business is business and boxing is boxing. And there are some things that are very, you know, any type of business and venture that you're in, there are some things that, you know, that are specific or unique to the particular product or service that you're offering. But the underlying tenets of boxing, of business, the underlying, issues, the solutions, a lot of them are very common to, when you're trying to address problems across different disciplines. And I think this is a perfect example of it, where you have somebody that really was doing some stuff that was very, penny wise and pound foolish. And that is Terence Crawford, because now what we're hearing is that Terence Crawford's next fight is going to be against Chris Eubank over there in Saudi Arabia. And look, man, I don't think that that's a good move, especially when you are not the best situation, especially when Terence Crawford has so many lucrative fights that really could mean things, big things for his pocketbook and things for his quote unquote legacy in the U.S. But his reputation as a businessman, or the experience that people have had with him, has not been very good. And it goes from the experience that the PBC's had with him to the experience that Top Rank has had with him. And I think you wind up now seeing him really kind of boxed in, despite how great a fighter he is. Now, what do I mean specifically about that? You now have him about to go fight Chris Eubank, maybe over there in Saudi Arabia. That is not some fight that is really going to grow your legacy. It's not a fight that people really want to, that anybody was even asking for. And quite honestly, it's a bit of a dangerous fight because of the size of Chris Eubank and the fact that Chris Eubank is, I think Chris Eubank is with I'm pretty sure he's with Frank Warren, but this could be a situation where, Chris Eubank over there is considered a house fighter, and you just never know what's going to happen when you go all the way over there to Saudi Arabia. And it's not going to be anywhere near as lucrative as the fight that he just had with Errol Spence, a fight that he could have with Canelo Alvarez. But why won't he get those fights? My understanding is because it is the business, that the experience that people had in dealing with Terence Crawford. The fact that Terence Crawford was an unreliable business partner and somebody that did not negotiate with people in the past in good faith. And what do I mean by that? I mean, with Top Rank, you had Bob Arum saying that he lost more money with Terence Crawford. Lost enough money with Terence Crawford to buy a mansion in Beverly Hills. And why did he believe that? Because he believed that Terence Crawford, at least this is my recollection of what he said, never really got into or did his best to promote the fights when Bob Arum was paying for it, and, wouldn't get out there, wouldn't talk about the fight. All he really wanted to do was get his guaranteed money, get out there and get in the ring. And so at the end of that contract, the second time around, Bob Arum was like, look, man, I don't even want to do business with Terence Crawford any more than a fight-by-fight deal. If we can find a deal that we want to do, then fine, we can do it. But if not, man, we got to deal with him like we did with Marvelous Marvin Hagler, and just, hey, man, we're going to do it on a fight-by-fight basis. So no more guarantees for him. Then you had what happened with the PBC, where they were negotiating with Terence Crawford for, months and months and months. And then right at the last minute, without even telling him, he jumps out of the fight and he goes to fight David Avanesyan, jumps back, and then leaves those guys high and dry. Had the entire PBC lineup and Showtime lineup stalled out for the entire, the entire second half of 2022. And I had actually spoken with an executive with the PBC at a fight. And they said, they were like, wow, Fanon, it's like you knew without knowing that, all he needed to do was just call us and say, hey, man, we have another fight that we're trying to make. And we would have been okay with it. We would have got a fight for Errol. He could have had his fight and we could have got together after that. There was no need for him to operate in that particular manner. Right. So now you have him boxed in, right, where Top Rank doesn't want to deal with him. And then you have the PBC who's basically saying, in my understanding with Floyd, not with Floyd Mayweather, but with the PBC, is that Terence Crawford is actually willing to fight Errol Spence Jr. at 154, but the PBC doesn't want to do the fight. So if the PBC doesn't want to do the fight, but Terence Crawford is unwilling to do a fight with the PBC for guys like Erickson Lubin or guys like Jermell, and then maybe a Jermell Charlo fight after that. He's unwilling to do that. He wants the Canelo Alvarez fight, but the PBC is like, man, PBC has other fights that they want for Canelo. If they don't trust Canelo, if they don't trust Terence Crawford to do business with them consistently, repeatedly, in a predictable fashion over a course of years, why would they give him the Canelo Alvarez fight? So to me, this whole thing with the fight with having to go over there to Saudi Arabia to fight Chris Eubank at 160 is a reflection of the business decisions and the negotiations that he's had with Top Rank and the PBC for past fights. You don't really hear about Golden Boy wanting to do it at all. I've heard maybe Matchroom say one or two things about him, but I mean, it's just an unfortunate situation, because I think that if he had been like easier to deal with, that, man, we could be getting some really good fights, man. We could be getting the Jaron Ennis fight. We could get him against the winner of Keith Thurman and Tim Tszyu. You could have fights maybe with him and Jermall Charlo at 160 pounds. But a fight with Chris Eubank at 160, not feeling that so much. But anyway, that's my take on the matter. Please let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Deuces.